brainstem. And the cerebellum. So these four regions of the brain, they're all connected. Okay, they're all connected. Which means there are neurons that pass to and from each places. Okay, so that's how I want you to remember. Yes, we're talking about distinct region, but there are neurons that will go to and from. It's almost like interstate travel. Right? We have distinct states, correct? But you can take the 10 from here, and you will get into Arizona. Agree? And after Arizona, you get into New Mexico and Texas, correct? So the freeway would be like your neurons coming to and from. Okay. Now, a lot of times people know that the cerebrum is divided into two halves, right? Right and left hemisphere. That's what most people think about. Okay, so just the right and left halves, hemispheres, what we call them, that's all cerebrum. That's the curly part of the brain. Most people think it's the bulk of the brain, but it's not. Okay, that's not all the brain. The rest of the brain is here, which we're going to discuss in a little while. Okay. So when you hear about people saying right brain or left brain, that's what you're talking about. Now, I'm going to go back and forth between your lab list. Okay, so you want to pull out your lab list. That'll be fine. You can go back and forth with the vocabulary. The cerebrum has 5 lobes. In each in each hemisphere. Okay? And the lobes. Okay, so all this crinkly thing from here on up, all of that is cerebrum. Does that make sense? Okay. The lobes, let's number them. Here we are. Here's one lobe. Gee, does that look familiar? Yeah, it's right here, right? The temporal bone is here. That's what the temporal lobe is. So right deep to the temporal bone, you're going to have the temporal lobe. Make sense? What was this bone here? Frontal. So guess what? Deep to the frontal bone is the frontal lobe. So that's all this stuff here. Okay. And what's bone here? Parietal lobe. So deep to this bone is the parietal lobe. Back here, what bone was back here? Occipital bone. So deep to the occipital bone is the occipital lobe. Aha. How many lobes is that? 4. So there's a new one that we don't have a bone for. And it makes sense because it's deep. Okay, it's deep. The last lobe is insula. Okay, so the 5 lobes, we have frontal, temporal, parietal, occipital, and insula. How I remember this? Insula is inside, right? It's
insulated by everything else?
Yeah, it's insulated. Good. Yeah. Insula is insulated by everything else. Good. To find it, you're going to have to move the temporal lobe down, move the frontal lobe up, and it's in there. Okay, that's why you don't see it in this picture because you don't see the deep layer. It's only safe. You're going to have to move the temporal lobe down, moves the frontal lobe up, and it's in there. Okay, it's in there. All right. So that's the last one. That's the insula. Okay. And on Wednesday, we're going to actually look at the brain model so you can see these lobes. Okay. The other words on here that I want you to know, by the way, it's all spelled here for you, right? On the lobes. The words I want you to know is dividing the right and left halves is a very deep fissure, and that's called the great longitudinal fissure. Okay. So here in this picture, I'm looking at the brain from this view. So right here is the great where my hand is, that's the great longitudinal fissure. It divides the two halves. Okay? The great longitudinal fissure divides the two hemispheres. A fissure is a deep crack, deep enough to separate the two halves. Okay? That's a fissure. Does that make sense? All right. Now, there's another fissure. Right here. Okay. Right here. Is another fissure. And this is, what is this all up here? This is the cerebrum, right? This is the cerebellum. So cerebrum up here, cerebellum here, and this is the transverse fissure. Okay? Transverse fissure. Now I'm not going to point out cerebellum. It's down here. This little guy, cerebellum. Literally, it translates to a small cerebrum. Look at this word, cerebrum, cerebellum. You see how this is a small version of that? Okay, remember like arterioles and arteries, you guys remember? Venules and veins? Same pattern. The L makes it small, right? So cerebellum is a small cerebrum. Because that's what the anatomist saw. It's like, oh, let's look at a little version of that. Okay, now, so that's a transverse fissure. The transverse sulcus let's go to central sulcus. Central sulcus. Okay, let's first of all, a fissure is deep, right? A deep crack is a fissure. A sulcus is a shallow crack, not as deep. Okay, so these little lines, they're not very deep, so we call them sulcus. A gyrus is the bulge. Folds. Fold or bulge is a gyrus. Okay? So, right here, I know you can't see too well because of the crack here, but starting up there, all the way down, that's the central sulcus. Let me kind of outline it. So this is the central sulcus. It's not a very deep crack, but it is a crack nonetheless. Okay? All right. Now, that is the dividing line between frontal and parietal. Okay. So here is frontal lobe, and this is the parietal lobe. Okay, it's the central sulcus. What's a bulge again? The bulge is gyrus. So look at the next word. Pre-central gyrus versus post-central gyrus. What is this bulge here called? What do you guys think? Pre or post? Pre. Yes. So right here is the pre-central gyrus. Make sense? So what makes this back here? This would be the post. Gyrus. Okay? Okay. I just want to go down the list here. So pons is just this area here. It's a little bulge. That's the pons. So this- not the cerebellum, not the cerebrum, but to here is the pons. Okay? The pons is part of the brainstem. So over here, the brainstem has 3 parts. And funky name, just bear with me. Mes and cephalon is most superior, it's higher up. Then comes the pons. Then comes, what's this down here? Medulla, yes. So from here, to there is the medulla oblongata. And that's the 3rd part of the brainstem. Okay? So you don't see the mesencephalon because this temporal lobe is in the way. Does that make sense? So it's inside, and I can't show you in this view, but you see the pons and the medulla. So about here is mesencephalon. All this is brainstem. Okay? Cerebellum, we pointed out, is here. Cerebrum is up there. Diencephalon is deep. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We continue on my list. Okay. I'm going to go to the mid-sagittal.
Can you go back one for a second, please?
Go back to the picture.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
And of course, after the medulla oblongata is the spinal cord, right? So what hole is this going to come out? Ray magnum, good, ray magnum. Okay. All right. Next. This is looking at the brain, like I said, from bottom up. Okay, look at the brain from bottom up. And let's review all these so you understand what you're looking at. Okay. From this view, this would be what? All of this would be what part of the brain? Cerebrum, right? Cerebrum. This would be the cerebellum, and the brainstem is in the middle. That make sense? Okay, so here you see a little bit of the mesencephalon, right here. Mesencephalon. That's the beginning of the brainstem. Okay, so right here, this area is mesencephalon, right here. Okay, mesencephalon. Then, right below that, this area is the pons. The bulge, remember the bulge? That's the pons. And then, after the bulge comes the medulla oblongata. So from here, on down is the medulla oblongata. Okay? You also need to know our cranial nerves. I might as well go through now. It's a perfect view. Okay. Cranial nerve, and I'm at the top of the list. You guys see? Here, the last list. You need to know the cranial nerve by number and by their name. Okay. Number and by name. So cranial nerve 1 is this thing here called the olfactory bulb and tract. Okay. So the whole thing, let's do cranial nerve in green. Cranial nerve in green, olfactory bulb, olfactory tract. That's CN. What does CN stand for? Cranial nerve number 1. Cranial nerve, is it peripheral or is it central nervous system? Okay, let's do thumbs up, thumbs down, true or false? True or false? Cranial nerve is part of the central nervous system. True or false? I erased it. Before the break, I had CNS here, right? Under CNS, I said nerves. You guys remember that? And what did I say? All nerves are peripheral. All nerves are peripheral. So all these cranial nerves are what? Peripheral. Okay? Peripheral. Why do we call it cranial nerve? Because it's coming out of the brain, right? Out of the brain. Okay? That's cranial nerve 1. Where are we? We're in the hemisphere, especially what lobe? Frontal lobe. Good. So the bottom or inferior, right? Frontal lobe. Okay? Let's go to cranial nerve 2. That's this line, 1. Okay? And by the way, olfactory means smell. It means smell. Alright, cranial nerve 2 is here and here. And that's the optic nerve. CN2. Gee, what does optic mean? Vision, right? You see your eyeballs there, right? Let's review the skull. Was there an optic canal? Yes or no?
Yes.
Take the wild guess. What did it come to the optic canal? optic nerve, because it's connects go out your eyeball, remember? That yellow pipe cleaner on Saturday? And then I had you do the yellow pipe cleaner to the other side. And then I said, push it all the way, and it's going to meet up right here, agree? What was that place on the bone called? The optic chiasm. Or optic groove, chiasmatic groove. This was the chiasmatic groove right here. Okay. What bone? Sphenoid. Yeah, optic groove, sphenoid bone. Okay? Right here. Because the optic nerve forms the letter X. You guys see? This is why this eyeball will feed into both sides of the occipital lobe, feed to both sides of the brain. This eyeball will go to both sides of the brain because of this crossing. But anyway, that's cranial nerve 2. Let's move on. Cranial nerve 3. Cranial nerve 3. Okay, I'm going to erase it. It's in the way. Erase. Cranial nerve 3 is this guy right here. And it's ocular motor. On your sheet, you can see ocular motor. Okay, so it's not labeled, so I'll label it over here. Aha! Let's try to figure out what this nerve do. What do you think? What's ocular refers to? Vision, eyeball. What's motor? Movement. So put it together. It has to do with eye movement. That's ocular motor. Cranial nerve 3, right here. Where are we? We are between what and what? Between the mesencephalon and the pons. Right? Mesencephalon and the pons. At the very top, right? See how I'm going in order? The other thing I want you to remember is midline. Because that's the midline, agree? Very close to the midline. Mes and pons. That's where it's at. Between the mesencephalon and the pons, okay? That's 3. Okay. Then we go lateral. And 3, 4 is this little guy here. Maybe I should make it a blue color. I'll make it red. Oops, sorry. So this is this is 4. And so cranial nerve 4 is trochlear. Okay. And believe it or not, it also moves the eyeball. So just go lateral. So from 3, go lateral. And it's still on the pons. Upper pons, okay? And then 5. 5 is huge. Right here, all of this. That is CN5. Trigeminal. What does tri means? 3. I know you only see 2 here, but trust me, this big fat one's going to split up, and that's going to get 3 branches. So that's how it earned its name. Trigeminal. It's going to split up to 3. You're already seeing it 2 right now. This fat one's going to become 3. Okay? Becomes 3 branches. So that's trigeminal. And we're still lateral pons. Lateral upper pons. go back to midline. That's how I remember it. This is now 6. C and 6. And this is midline. Right? You guys understand when I say midline? But now we're lower pons, right? We're between pons and medulla oblongata. And I'm going down, right? Pons, medulla. That's cranial nerve 6. I'm not going to put the name in because it gets too crowded. You guys already have the name of your list. Does that make sense? And it gets too crowded otherwise. All right. Then we do the same thing. We go lateral. Midline, go lateral. Okay? So as we go lateral, the next one is going to be 7. So I'll make that green. So these here, 7. Sorry. Seven. Cranial nerve. 7. Same deal. Lateral, lower, pons. Cranial nerve 7. Then 8, even more lateral. Okay. 8 is this guy here. That's cranial nerve 8. This is most lateral. Okay? That make sense? Now, we just go straight down. 8, 9, 10, 11. So we'll go straight down from 8. This is C and 9, C and 10, C and 11. Okay, so 8, and maybe I should make a different color so you can see it easier. So that's the end of 11. Okay, so there you go. And we're just now, all of these are medulla, right? All of these are medulla. Medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata. So this is upper medulla oblongata. This is mid medulla, and this is lower medulla. Does that make sense? Okay. And 12 is back to midline. C and 12. So C and 12 is midline. Okay? see a pattern for these cranial nerves? Where do we start? We start at the front, right? And we work our way down the brain. Make sense? So you could, just to get you started, you just kind of go in order until you become familiar. Then you don't have to go in order anymore. Okay? All right. So start at the top or the front and work your way down. Now, notice I purposely made this in blue, blue, blue. Why? Because they're all midline. They're all midline. So what's midline? 3. What else? 6 and 12. Is that a pattern? Yeah. 3 and 3 is 6. 6 and 6 is 12. They're all midline. Okay? So that's how I remember it. 3 and 3 is 6. 6 and 6 is 12. Midline. Okay? Alright. Then, if you know 3 is midline, 4 and 5 is just lateral from there. Okay? What do I mean? Let's start at 3. That's 3, right? Go lateral. You're going to hit 4 and then 5. Then you go back to midline. 6. Agree? Go lateral. You're going to hit 7 and 8. Does that make sense? And then you just go down for the last 3, 9, 10, 11, and then back to midline for 12. Okay. So if you recognize the pattern, you don't have to memorize a whole lot. And you already have to memorize the name and the number, yes? So trying to memorize the location is a ton of info. So my best advice is try to work out some kind of pattern to help you with the cranial nerves, but you have to know all 12. Okay? Yeah.
We have to know the numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to know them both by name and by number. Okay? Alright. There are some very colorful mnemonics on the web because cranial nerve is something that all anatomy students have to put up with. And you can easily look that up on your own. I'm sure there's some videos made with those mnemonics too. That's your call, but you need to know. Okay? Make sense? All right, any questions here before I move on? Go ahead and snap a picture while I erase, okay? Okay. So now let's go to the mid-sagittal cut. What do I mean? Right here, right? Right through the nose. So you're looking at this connection between the right and left half. Okay? Right and left half. So that's what we're looking at, mid-sagittal. Mid-sagittal. Okay, so continuing on with your lab list, that's the next chunk, right? Okay. Arbor vitae of the cerebellum. What is Arbor Day? What do you do on Arbor Day? Tree. You plant a tree. So arbor means tree. Cerebellum is this thing, agree? Do we see a tree here? Yeah, growing sideways, yeah? So this is the tree of, called Arbor vitae of the cerebellum. Do you guys know what vitae means? Life. So this is a tree of life, literally translated. Arbor vitae of the cerebellum, tree of life. Okay. I know it's kind of hard to see, but just trust me, this is white. The tree trunk and branches, that's white matter. What does that mean? Is it myelinated or unmyelinated? Myelinated. Axon, dendrites, or cell body? Hello? Axon. So this is myelinated axon, right here, okay? So for lab, I can point to here and ask you, what is this called? For lecture, I can point to here and say, hey, myelinated axon. A. B. Myelinated dendrite. C. Myelinated cell body. You guys understand? So I need you to know what it's called and what it is. Okay, so that's white matter. Okay, white matter. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna skip lateral ventricle because you can't see right now. Okay. I'm gonna go down to what I can see on this picture, which is corpus callosum. You guys see corpus callosum? This whole thing is corpus callosum. Aha, it's the same color as the tree of life, right? So what kind of matter? White. So the whole thing is corpus callosum, also white matter. Now, this white matter goes across. This is a connecting neuron, axon, running right and left. This is what connects your right and left hemisphere. Okay, corpus callosum. Right and left hemispheres connected to each other by the corpus callosum. Okay? All right. Next, fornix. Fornix is this thing here. Oops. Okay, that thing is the fornix. It's like a small corpus callosum, yeah? Okay. Also white matter. Okay. Next one, pineal gland. For some reason, you guys messed this up on the test. It wasn't pineal gland, that was on the test, right? It was this little guy. This is pineal. This little guy was the one on the test. So what is this? This is pineal. Right here. That's pineal. Okay? So where are we? We're at the end of the corpus callosum, right? That makes sense? End of corpus callosum is a tiny little dot. It's yeah, corpus callosum, tiny little dot, pineal, okay? Now, let me continue. Okay, I'm going to say pineal is up here because the diencephalon has 3 parts. Here is the best view of the diencephalon, the mid-cut, the mid-sagittal cut. Okay. So this is diencephalon. Here. Diencephalon. Okay. Right in the midline, that's why it's deep, and it has 3 parts. We have epithalamus, thalamus, and G. What's opposite of epi? No. Epi is above. What's inside? What's below? Hypo. Aha. Have you heard of hypothalamus? Yeah, just last week, right? So that part of the diencephalon, epithalamus and hypothalamus. Okay? So, where are we? Ooh, I better wait. So the pineal gland is part of the epithalamus. Epithalamus. hypothalamus, pineal gland on the left. Pineal gland. Okay. I know right here, here is orange. You see there's like a oval area right here? There's two of them. One right behind the screen bulging up and one in front of the screen bulging up. You don't see it because it got cut. Okay, so there are two thalami. One on the right, one on the left. You're seeing the one behind the screen bulging forward. So that's that raised area. That's the thalamus on that side. The one on this side you don't see because it got removed. Okay? So two thalami. Thalamus singular, two thalami. Okay? And that's that thing. That's the diencephalon. Diencephalon, diencephalon. Where's the rest of the diencephalon? The hypothalamus, which is here. Get it? Below the thalamus? What's below thalamus? Hypothalamus. And that would be here. Hypothalamus. Which is what we talked about last week. You guys remember? Endocrine? Hypothalamus is right there. Okay? Same deal. There's one on one side, one on the other side. Okay? So, right and left. Does that make sense? Okay, so they're all diencephalon. So where's the diencephalon? Right here. Okay? That's diencephalon. Okay. Pituitary gland. Okay, let's review from the lecture last week. Hypothalamus is here. Where's pituitary? Right below it. Agree? So here it is. That's pituitary. Pretty straightforward. And you know from last week, pituitary is divided into what and what? Anterior and posterior. Good. Totally different, right? Totally different hormones and everything? Yeah, so right there, that's the pituitary. Okay. What else is on your list? Corpora quadrigemina. Okay. Corpora. What was corpus last week? Body. Quad means 4. Any Gemini in here? What are Gemini? Double. Twins. So 4 twin bodies. Here you see 2 of the 4 because the other 2 is in front of the screen. Does that make sense? So this whole thing and this are the corpora quadrigemina. Here you will see 2 because the other 2 is in front of the screen. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Does that make sense? Corpora quadrigemina. Okay. And that's part of mesencephalon. Where are we? Mesencephalon. Corpora quadrigemina. So I'm leaving the thalamus, I'm leaving the diencephalon, I go into mesencephalon. Mesencephalon, right here. What comes after mesencephalon? The pons. The pons, right? See, so this is mesencephalon, then comes the pons. What comes after the pons? Medulla. Medulla. So from here, I guess I should. All the way to here. All of this is brainstem. That make sense? Diencephalon, brainstem. Brainstem start with the mesencephalon, then the pons, then the medulla. Okay? So mesencephalon, gets a little messy. So here, I'm going to erase brainstem. So just so you know, this is the mes, this is the pons, this is the medulla oblongata. Okay? Oh, let's go back to the corpora quadrigemina. Look at your list. How do I further distinguish them? Superior and inferior. So what should be the black? Superior colliculus, the singular. And the one in the red would be the inferior colliculus. Okay? And that's pretty straightforward. Almost done. Mammillary body, you don't really see it here. I gotta go back to the last slide. But go ahead and snap a picture before I erase. Okay? So snap a picture before I erase. I'm gonna erase this one. Hang on, this is not applicable. Okay. Okay? And let me just finish up the list here. Going back to the last slide. Mammillary body. And by the way, please don't get this confused with the breast. What's the breast? Mammary, right? The breast is mammary. This is mammillary. Okay? Mammillary. This is why spelling counts in anatomy. Mammillary is not memory. Okay? These are the mammary bodies. And you're like, well, they look kind of like breast. Well, okay. That could be the confusion. Okay, so these two bumps are the mammillary bodies in the brain. Okay? Last week you guys had mammary gland. Okay? Alright, make sense? So it's right here. What part of the brain is this? Mesencephalon. Mesencephalon. So we also can add on here corpora quadrigemina and mammillary body. Part of the mesencephalon. Part of the mesencephalon. Okay? Alright. Woo-hoo. Hey, I'm thrilled because we're done with lab. Okay, so that Wednesday, the pressure is not so intense in lab because we're done. But I will continue with the lecture with the rest of the brain chapters. Okay, but at least if you want to go study in the STEM Center, you know what to look for, okay? Alright, so at this point, I'm going to defer your exam task back because I have a student who needs to take it. I don't want the answers to be floating around, okay? So I'm going to pass up your exam on Wednesday, alright? Okay, so any questions? Oh, by the way, one more thing.